All right, let's get right into it. If you're someone who's trying to save or invest, you've probably felt this. It's that nagging feeling that the first big goal, that first $100,000, feels less like a milestone and more like an absolutely impossible mountain to climb. We're gonna break down exactly why that is and how a simple shift in your thinking can honestly change the entire game. This phrase right here really gets to the core of it. Functionally invisible. That's what the results of all your hard work can feel like at the start. You're saving, you're investing, you're doing all the right things, but when you look at your account, the needle just barely seems to move. It's a universal feeling. And you know what? It's incredibly frustrating. So yeah, let's just ask the big question head on. Why does it feel so impossible? Is it just something in our heads? Or is there something real, something mathematical happening behind the scenes that makes this first part of the journey uniquely, brutally difficult? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is kind of both. And that brings us perfectly to our first section, which I think is named perfectly, the insulting grind. Because this isn't just about being patient. It's about pushing through a period where your efforts feel completely, almost ridiculously out of proportion to your rewards. That word insulting, it's perfect, isn't it? You skip the fancy coffees, you work extra hours, you diligently put money away, and your portfolio grows by, what, a few $100? It honestly feels like the universe is mocking your discipline. And this slow, tiny, insulting progress is exactly where so many people lose heart. So here's the key idea. We have to reframe the goal completely. You have to stop thinking of that first 100 grand as just another milestone on a long road. Instead, think of it like this. It's a massive wall. And your job isn't just to walk toward it. Your job is to smash through it. Because I promise you, what's on the other side is a totally different ballgame. Okay, so let's get into the mechanics behind that wall. Our second section uses this really powerful metaphor to explain it, the long, flat handle. So we've talked about why it feels slow. Now let's talk about why it is slow. It really all comes down to compounding, right? Your money earning its own money, but think of it like a tiny little snowball at the top of a hill. At first, it's barely picking up any new snow. It needs a critical mass to get going. You're basically trying to start a bonfire with a single match. The potential's massive, but right now, the flame is tiny. And this visualization is just perfect. If you imagine your wealth journey looking like a hockey stick, this early phase is that long, flat handle. It just seems to go on forever with almost no upward momentum. This is the grind. This is the danger zone. And this is precisely where most people get fed up and just give up. So let's put some numbers to this grind to make it real. Imagine in your first year of really focusing, you managed to save up 5,000 pounds. That is a huge accomplishment, a fantastic start. You are officially on your way. Now, you keep at it, you stay disciplined, maybe 4 more years go by, so you're 5 years in. With consistent saving and a bit of market growth, you've hit 30,000 pounds. That's solid for sure. But it's taken 5 full years of effort just to get there. The growth still feels very linear, just 1 pound stacked on top of the last. Okay, let's fast forward again. A full decade has now passed. 10 years of sacrifice, of saving, and you're at 75,000 pounds. You can finally see the wall from here, but man, it has been an absolute slog to get this far. This is that insulting grind we were talking about in action. A decade of work for a result that, let's be honest, probably hasn't fundamentally changed your life just yet. And this is where that dangerous question pops into your head, the one that derails so many people. After all that time, all that effort, if this is all there is to show for it, what's even the point of continuing? And it feels like a fair question, but it's the wrong one, because you're standing right at the base of the wall. And this, my friends, brings us to the payoff. We've survived the long, flat handle. Now we're at section 3, the vertical cliff face. This is where the physics of building wealth completely changes. But you didn't quit. You kept pushing. And finally, after all that grinding, you hit it. 100,000 pounds. You have scaled the wall. And this isn't just a number, it's a launch pad. Remember that bonfire? Well, you finally gathered enough wood. This is the critical mass you needed for it to really start to roar. Because what happens next is not another long, flat slog. No way. What happens next is a vertical cliff face. Your 100,000 pounds is now a serious army of capital, and it's working for you 24/7. The money it generates is no longer functionally invisible. It's substantial, it's noticeable, and it starts to do the heavy lifting for you. Let's go back to the numbers for a second. That first 100 grand took over 10 years of grinding. But look at this. With the power of compounding now fully unleashed, the next $100,000 might only take 5 years, half the time. And the one after that, even less. That is the vertical cliff face. You're not just saving anymore, you are accelerating. So let's really hammer this powerful idea home in our final section. We need to burn this into our brains. It's a wall, not a milestone. See, the first 100K isn't important because of what it can buy. It's important because it represents the barrier between linear effort and exponential growth. The real achievement isn't the number itself, it's getting to the point where the entire game changes in your favor. This is a great way to look at it. On the left, you've got the milestone mindset. It just sees a long, discouraging treadmill where every step feels the same, and quitting seems pretty reasonable. But on the right, you have the wall mindset. You understand the game. You accept that initial barrier because you know that breaking through it is the entire goal. It reframes the struggle as a necessary rite of passage, and that makes you want to persist. So why does this mental shift matter so much? Well, first, it normalizes that feeling of frustration. If it feels like a grind, you're not doing it wrong. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Second, it gives you a much clearer goal. It's not just save more. Your mission is to break the wall. And maybe most importantly, it gives you that psychological fuel you need to keep going when the returns feel insultingly small. So, the final thought I want to leave you with is this. That initial grind, it's not a sign that your plan is failing. It's a sign that you're on the right path, building the foundation. You are scaling the wall. So the only real question left is, are you prepared for the cliff face on the other side?